Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu salam ala Rasulullah. Amma ba'd. This is for this brother by the name of Journeyman. I wanted to bring you first to let you know that this deen of ours is not upon, differing in a way that we would, want to challenge one another or take what we know and understand and use it towards the aspect of trying to compete against one another in that aspect, but that we try to do better in our deen to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah. And that, for you and me, that is what is incumbent upon us. And so that you know that I'm not here to try to compete against you. I am replying back because you asked me to, but really that's not the basis of this deen, that we have to compete or challenge in that aspect. But if we do compete, which is permissible, it is to please Allah. It is to please Allah. So that you know that, and that this deen is the deen of Nasiyah, and that we should bring proofs with when we bring Nasiyah, and I'm going to try to do so. So in relation to what you had mentioned was really not in relation to what I had mentioned in my two videos about this dawah to Salafiyah or being a Salafi. What I wanted to tell you is that the deen of Al-Islam is based on clear text, and that I brought knowledge from clear text in relation to hadith and in relation to the Quran. And then you came and you brought from what you had, I'm not sure, some of it from what I know I've heard of, but you said you brought proofs and like this, okay. But it was not in relation to what I was speaking about. It was in relation to another subject. And I'll just be brief on that subject since you mentioned it. In relation to being called Khawarij, of those people who are upon making criticism or especially overthrowing the government and trying to remove the government. And you used the proof one time from Abu Hanifa, rahimahullah, that he had said that it is permissible to remove a tyrant ruler. Okay, but this was not a permissible thing from the Prophet ﷺ, other than those who were deviant and those who were hypocrites. And even the hypocrites, the Prophet ﷺ did not have any harm to come to them in the aspect of it being a mawqif of Allah's Messenger ﷺ. It was not his way to do this. But let me bring you one proof that is in relation to being patient with Allah's will. And see, because Allah is the one who's created us, and He wills for the people to be guided, and He wills for the people to go astray. None can guide whom Allah misguides, and none can misguide whom Allah guides. And that's in the Quran. But in this proof is from Ibn Sa'd, relates in At-Tabaqat, which is 7, 163, 165. A group of Muslims came to Al-Hasan al-Basri, which died 110 Hijri, seeking a verdict for rebelling against Al-Hajjaj. So they said, "O Aba Sa'id, what do you say about fighting this oppressor who has unlawfully spilt blood and unlawfully taken wealth, and did this and did that?" So Al-Hasan said, "I say not to fight him. If this is a punishment from Allah, then you will not be able to remove it with your swords. If this is a trial from Allah, then being patient until Allah's judgment comes, and He is the best of judges." So they, Al-Hasan, and so they left Al-Hasan and disagreed with him and rebelled against Al-Hajjaj. So he killed them all. And about this, Al-Hassan used to say, if only the people had patience. If only the people had patience. When they are being tested by their unjust ruler, it would not be long before Allah will give them a way out. So this is a proof. And another proof is about in relation to how the terrorists have been, and Allah knows best who have done these evil acts around the world, because we know there's corruption from both sides. There's sides, majorly corruption from the sides of the Kafir, and then there's the side of even Muslims that are corrupted in their deen and their understanding upon what is correct and how to carry themselves out in relation to jihad. So, the Surah An-Nisa, which is the 4th Surah, and it's ayat 90 and 94. Look it up in the Tafsir al-Quran as well, if you don't, follow in essence of what I'm trying to bring. Ayat 90, which it says, except those who join a group, treaty, or peace, or those who approach you with their breasts restrained from fighting you as well as fighting their own people. Had Allah willed, indeed, He would have given them power over you, and they would have fought you and fight not against you and offer you peace. Then Allah has opened no way for you against them. Invite to the way of your Lord with wisdom and fair preaching, and argue with them in the best way. And this is Surah An-Nahl 16, ayat 125, and He, the Most High, said, that follows, and by the mercy of Allah, you dealt with them gently. And had you been severe and harsh-hearted, they would have broken away from about you. Okay? So these are two proofs right there that just basically sum up, the Surah Ali Imran is the surah that it's from, and it's ayat 159. So these two proofs that's from the Quran clearly states that we have to be patient, and we have to come with hikmah, which is wisdom, and we have to come with good word and being easy and gentle. So this is only not even just for the Muslim. This statements were for the kuffar. Okay, so the kuffar, even them, being that they disobey Allah, and they reject the tawheed of Allah, and they reject, they practice shirk and the likes of these things that Allah is not pleased with. So, if that's the correct understanding, then we know that the kuffar are worse than us as Muslims, and that we should be even treating ourselves as Muslims even better. So for a leader who is a tyrant, and he's Muslim, should be given the patience that Allah has prescribed for us to have, for that this ruler, by also praying upon him, will be guided. And may Allah guide us all, Ameen. So for that, I will try to answer even more in depth later if I'm possible, but may Allah guide us all, Ameen. And Bismillah, wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulullah, Jazakum khairan. Assalamu alaikum.